This might be one of the most underrated monster horror films, and it is also considered a masterpiece of the found footage genre. So today, let us take a look at this gem released in 2008 with a production cost of only $25 million, yet grossing an astonishing $180 million worldwide, Cloverfield. The story begins with a videotape recording a morning in Manhattan, capturing the sweet daily life of Rob and Beth. From the recording, we learn that Rob is about to leave for work in Japan, and because of this, conflict has arisen between them. The scene shifts, and the camera is now in the hands of Rob's brother Hud, who is secretly helping to prepare a farewell party for Rob. Hud uses a handheld home video camera to record everyone's messages for Rob, and this tape will be given to him as a gift. At this moment, Rob walks in. Faced with the surprise everyone has prepared for him, he is clearly caught off guard. Rob thanks everyone for the gesture, but still does not see Beth anywhere. Unexpectedly, Beth arrives with another man, who turns out to be her new boyfriend. This leads to a complete falling out, and Beth leaves with her new partner. An upset Rob and his brother went out to the balcony, pouring out the troubles in their hearts. But at that very moment, the ground suddenly begins to shake violently.
Care about the most.
Oh God! Oh my God! What the hell was that?
Not long after, the power comes back on. Everyone assumes it was an earthquake, and clearly the sudden tremor has frightened them all. Just then, the news report provides the latest update. It turns out it really was an earthquake. Jason suggests going up to the roof, thinking they might see something, so they quickly head upstairs. Some people are even speculating whether it could be a terrorist attack. Suddenly, a massive explosion echoes in the distance, and flames shoot into the sky. Along with the explosion, countless chunks of debris rain down like a storm. Realizing something is terribly wrong, they quickly rush back downstairs. Once out on the streets, they find crowds of terrified people running together in the same direction. The next instant, a huge object crashes down. Looking closer, it is not a rock at all. It is the head of the Statue of Liberty, now battered with holes, as though something had ripped a massive wound across it. Clearly, they have not yet realized the severity of the situation. Onlookers, having never seen anything like this before, quickly pull out their phones to record. But the next second, a massive shadow seems to pass in the distance.
Hey, did you guys see that? Did you guys just see that?
Buildings collapse instantly, and a wave of dust and rubble rushes toward them. With no time to think, they dash into a convenience store for cover, staring nervously out the window. The dust cloud quickly engulfs the area, and visibility outside drops rapidly.
Rob!
What?
Rob, I saw it!
What's he saying?
It's alive!
The ground trembles again and again, showing that this creature must be enormous. When the chaos finally subsides, they return to the street, only to be completely stunned by what they see. The once bustling streets of New York now look like a living hell, surrounded by wreckage and flames, with an air of death hanging everywhere. Terrified crowds run in every direction with no idea what has really happened. Hud quickly says he just filmed the creature and then replays the footage for everyone to see. Jason insists that no matter what it is, their top priority is to get out of Manhattan, and the nearest way out is the Brooklyn Bridge. At this moment, Marlena blurts out something shocking.
Who's eating everyone?
Clearly, she is scared out of her mind. Without wasting time, they head toward the Brooklyn Bridge, hoping to escape Manhattan. All along the way, there were scenes of destruction left behind by the monster's attacks. Fortunately, the bridge is not too far, and they soon make it there. Police helicopters hover overhead using loudspeakers to maintain order. The bridge, over 100 years old, still looks grand and imposing even now. But no one is in the mood to admire it. All they want is to escape as fast as possible. On the bridge, they see the capsized cargo ship from the news and the headless Statue of Liberty. At this moment, Rob receives a call from Beth. He steps aside to answer, then urgently tells his brother up ahead to stop. But Jason has already been pushed forward by the dense crowd. Suddenly, people on the bridge seem to spot something terrifying, and chaos erupts as the crowd surges back.
I can't see anything! Can you see it? Oh!
In an instant, the century-old bridge collapses, and Jason, caught too far ahead, does not survive the monster's attack. Those who made it off the bridge are shaken and traumatized. Amid the chaos, looting breaks out in the streets. They knew that if they didn't leave soon, they would surely die here. But Rob was even more torn inside, because just moments ago he had received Beth's desperate call for help. And now his phone had run out of power. With no choice, Rob joins the looters and rushes into an electronics store. HUD follows closely behind, just in time to see the latest news broadcast. From the helicopter footage, we finally get a clearer view of the monster's full form. The military had already been deployed on the streets, which meant the situation was extremely dire. From here, they could vaguely see that the monster was taller than the skyscrapers themselves. At this moment, HUD noticed everyone staring motionless at the television, and it turned out that tens of thousands of small creatures were leaping off the monster's body.
And equipment, and they're trying to get everyone
to be honest,
to
Tom, your guess is as good as mine.
falling all over the street. And
Oh my God.
whatever they are,
We're getting reports.
Oh my God,
I've been telling you, I've been trying to do that.
Meanwhile, Rob finally managed to put a new battery in his phone and heard Beth's message. She said she was trapped and unable to move, and Rob felt even more guilty, realizing that if not for their argument, she would not have gone back to the apartment first. So Rob decided to head to the apartment building near Columbus Circle to rescue Beth, but that was the city center and the area most devastated by the monster's attacks. Everyone else began following the military in an orderly evacuation, but Rob insisted he had to save Beth. His friends all tried to persuade him not to go, saying it was far too dangerous. Just then, after a frantic run, they finally rushed into a subway station, realizing that moving on the surface was now too dangerous. Suddenly, Rob had an idea. He said they could follow the subway tracks all the way to Columbus Circle and then continue underground to reach Central Park. After all, the tunnels were clearly safer than the surface. With no better options, everyone reluctantly agreed. They had no idea how long they had been walking when Marlena suddenly noticed countless rats flooding past their feet, all running frantically in the same direction, as if fleeing from something. No one dared to think about it, and they could only quicken their pace. At that moment, they heard noises behind them, but the tunnel was pitch black and nothing could be seen. HUD decided to switch on the night vision, and in the very next second, they were scared out of their wits.
Run. Okay, run. Actually, run. Hey, let's go running.
Fortunately, they narrowly managed to escape, but Marlena was badly wounded while trying to save HUD. They tried to exit the subway station and were stunned to find a blinding white light outside. Rob found this strange and cautiously stepped forward, but Marlena was already beginning to feel unwell. It turned out the area was a temporary military shelter.
What's up? Please, we can't stay here. We have now.
Copy that, sir. We have 2 F-18s en route from Selfridge. 4 more are arming up, maybe 30 minutes out.
From the captain, they learned that this base would also be evacuated in 15 minutes. Rob was still thinking about asking the military to rescue Beth. But at that moment, Marlena's eyes suddenly began bleeding. When the soldiers realized she had been bitten, their expressions instantly changed. The medics rushed to pull her away. Inside her body, something seemed ready to burst out, and the very next second, blood splattered everywhere. Everyone was left in shock, unable to believe what had just happened. From the soldiers, they learned that conventional weapons could not kill the monster, so the military was preparing to carry out a scorched earth plan, which ultimately meant wiping out all of Manhattan. The soldier told Rob that the last plane would take off from 40th Street at exactly 6 a.m., and if they were lucky enough to make it in time, they would be taken away. So the group continued toward Columbus Circle, and along the way they saw a driverless carriage, which looked eerily out of place on the empty streets. When they finally reached Columbus Circle, they were shocked, speechless by the scene before them. Beth's apartment building was leaning against another skyscraper at a dangerous angle. What was worse, her apartment was on the 99th floor, and the elevators were obviously unusable. Rob came up with another plan. They could climb the intact building next door, then cross over the rooftop into the leaning tower. Unfortunately, even that building's elevators had stopped working, so they had no choice but to climb the stairs. Exhausted from the endless climb, Rob decided to step outside to see how many floors they had reached. The moment he looked out, they were all stunned. Thankfully, the building was tilted but still stable. Carefully, they crawled along the rooftop piping and managed to enter the leaning tower. After searching, Rob finally found Beth, but her body had been pierced by a steel bar. Luckily, it had not hit a vital organ, so together they pulled her free. Just as they were preparing to leave, a thunderous explosion sounded in the distance.
It's a terrible thing.
They dared not waste another moment and hurried to return across the rooftops.
Oh my God! You see?
They rush down the stairs as fast as they can, sprinting toward the helicopter evacuation point. If they could not reach it before 6 a.m., they would all perish here. But this time, fortune seemed to favor them, and at the very last moment, they successfully arrived. Because the first helicopter could not carry so many passengers, Lily had to leave first. Rob held Beth tightly in his arms, at that moment sharing life and death with her. Fortunately, the second helicopter finally arrived, and the three of them quickly boarded as the main forces also began their retreat. As their helicopter lifted into the air, they finally got a clear look at the monster in its entirety. On the ground, the army was still fighting desperately, but their attacks did little real damage to the monster. At this moment, the heavy rumble of B-2 bombers echoed in the sky, and as the bomb bay doors opened, massive bombs rained down. Explosions erupted violently across the ground, and this strike clearly dealt a heavy blow to the monster, knocking it down after only a few hits. Just when everyone thought it was finally over, the monster was not dead. It suddenly leapt up, and the helicopter instantly lost control, spinning wildly before crashing toward the ground.
Right there! That's what I'm talking about! Oh my God, God, please, God! Oh my God!
Hud and Beth pulled Rob out of the wrecked helicopter. Through the lens, we could see from a distance that Midtown Manhattan had already turned into complete ruins. As Hud and Beth tried to carry Rob further away, Hud suddenly realized the camera was still left behind. So he turned back to retrieve it, and at that very moment, the monster bit Hud in half. In the end, Rob picked up the camera and ran under a bridge in Central Park, where he recorded his final words before death.
My name is Robert Hawkins. It's 6:42 a.m. on Saturday, May 23rd. Approximately 7 hours ago, something attacked the city. I don't know what it is. We've crashed here in Central Park and taken shelter under this bridge. The military has begun bombing the creature, and we're caught in the middle. Okay, ready?
My name is Elizabeth McIntyre. I don't know why this is happening.
Look at me, Beth, look at me, look at me.
I love you. I love you.
The film came to an abrupt end amid the screams of Rob and Beth. The footage then shifted back to April 27th, showing Rob and Beth on a Ferris wheel. Many thought this was only a memory of their happy past, but in fact, it was an Easter egg. If you looked closely, you could clearly see a creature dropping into the distant ocean from the sky. This revealed that the monster had actually arrived on Earth long before, and that's where the movie ends. Released in 2008, Cloverfield stood out with its unique storytelling and filming style, offering audiences a truly distinctive cinematic experience. The film was not only a visual and auditory spectacle, but also a profound exploration of humanity, disaster, and the unknown. By adopting a found footage style, the movie created a powerful sense of realism and immersion. audiences felt as if they were right there in the middle of the catastrophe, experiencing fear and despair alongside the characters. The shaky camera work, unstable frames, and occasional static made viewers feel like they were watching an authentic disaster recording rather than a fictional movie. From its creative background, Cloverfield was born in the early 21st century, a period when people had endured many real-life disasters and crises, such as the 9/11 attacks. These events left a massive psychological impact and filled people with fear of the unknown. The creators of the film keenly captured this social sentiment and visualized that inner fear through cinema. Meanwhile, the film industry at the time also faced pressure for innovation, as the traditional sci-fi disaster formula had begun to feel repetitive to audiences. The emergence of Cloverfield, with its unique found footage format and realistic portrayal of catastrophe, opened a new path for the evolution of sci-fi disaster films. The movie did not overexpose the monster's full form, instead relying on scattered details and human reactions to hint at its terror. This approach not only heightened the monster's mystery, but also allowed the audience's imagination to run wild. Viewers found themselves piecing together the creature's image in their minds based on the clues, and that imagined horror often felt even scarier than a direct reveal. All right, see you next time.